Hey there everyone, thank you for joining me today. It's November, I'm planting spring bulbs. That's the life of a gardener. It's a great life. I am dedicating a space in my enclosed garden and I'm calling it a bulb garden. So anyway, I'll go through quickly what I bought and then we will plant them together. I'll speed up that part. So the first one I want to show you is Schibbertii. This is an allium and I have grown Schibbertii before. I have it in another place in my garden, but I wanted it just in this specific area. Now I'm not sure because the Schibbertii, the alliums, bloom late spring and early summer. So this little garden is going to be an early spring, mid-spring blooming garden. So I haven't decided exactly if I'm going to put, I might put some of the alliums in this space. I can't get enough of Schibbertii. I dry these, the flower heads, and I dry them and use them on my dried flower Christmas tree, and they make a perfect tree topper. Even if you don't do a dried flower Christmas tree, you could still use the Schibbertii as a tree topper. And then another one we got is giant red star. I don't think I've ever grown giant red star before. And again, this is going to be a late spring, early summer bloomer, so I'll probably plant a few of these in another area. And then these I got at another store. This is Persian blue allium. I think I've planted Persian blue before, but I don't know that they ever did anything. That might have been my fault. I'm not sure. Then rounding up the last of the alliums is Gladiator. I mean, can you get enough of Gladiator? I can't. I love Gladiator. I have different places that I have Gladiator, and so I'm excited to have them in the enclosed garden because I don't have any alliums in the enclosed garden. Of course, you always have to add some hyacinths. These were half price. I think I got two or three packs of this at the other big box store, not at the nursery. And then they had some anemones at the nursery. Now they are soaking in lukewarm water, and anemone corms are just so, ugly looking. They look like a little rock when you buy them, and you need to soak them in lukewarm water for a little bit. They've been soaking for about 45 minutes, so they're ready. They're plumped up. I usually plant out my anemone corms in January, and I've never planted them out in the autumn time. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the difference of how they'll do. Will they get a little bit taller? Will the flowers get a little bit taller? Because I'm planting them out even earlier. So as I said, January's always been the time when I planted out my anemone corms. So let's hope this will help them get a little bit taller. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the water out of these corms now. And I don't want them to get too plump, but they really plumped up compared to what they were when I put them in here. You can see the corm is nice and plump and ready to be planted out. All right, so I'm going to go through these bags one by one with you as quickly as possible, and I'll show you pictures along the way as I have been doing. This one, I do not really want to attempt saying it, but I will try. Let me show you there, and you're seeing the picture. This is a specialty tulip, Copacalscania. You don't know how long it took me to practice that. I don't know. It says they're shade growing. They make a good cut flower, and they do perennialize. So they're very unique tulip, and the bulbs don't look like a normal tulip bulb. Look how small they are. Whoops, I don't want to lose it. These were quite expensive. These were $1.50 per bulb. So I think I only got 5. And of course they will multiply over the years, but I was excited about that one. This next one I got is your typical Scilla or Skilla, depending on where you're from. I think in other countries they pronounce it Skilla. We usually say Scilla, and or also squill. This is Siberian squill. So I'm excited to have a few of those. Those are early bloomers. And I have bulbs everywhere. I've planted, this will make just over 800 for this year. I usually plant in the 1,000 range. But as I said, I'm doing things completely different this year. I'm going to let a lot of these bulbs that I would normally treat as annuals, I'm going to let them perennialize. and I'm just taking it a little bit easier. I'm not having to turn my beds over so quickly for cut flowers. That's why I normally had to treat them as annuals, because I do donations, I give away my flowers, and so I would just need to turn the beds over pretty quickly so I could plant the next succession. But I'm really taking it easier. I'm not doing as many donations, and I'm just enjoying my garden a little bit more. So I'm letting all of these, a lot of these things perennialize that I would normally treat as annuals. So that saves a little bit of money too. This is a tulip called Single Early Flare. I'm not sure if I'm going to plant this in the new bulb garden or in another area, but I think I have five tulip bulbs of that one, so we'll see. The next one I have is Spring Snowflakes. It's a hardy white bell-shaped flower. You're probably familiar with that. And it's a good sized bulb. I'll show you the bulb here. That's a really good sized bulb for a snowdrop, or I think it's a little different than a snowdrop. So it's, yeah, it says it's bell-shaped flower, hardy white. The next one is a narcissus or a daffodil. I was so excited about this. It is absolutely beautiful. It's called Snow Frills. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm excited to add this one. Of course, daffodils are definitely a perennial for me. All of my daffodils I've always left to perennialize for me. I have them all over, as I said, you know, just from years of adding in different places in the landscape. But I'm just really excited to have this space as a specific bulb garden. And then I may add some lilies in the spring so that I could have the next succession of blooms and just leave them in there, not worry about trying to turn this bed over. I'm pretty excited about that. This next one I about flipped over when I saw these bulbs. This is a Dutch iris. It's called Tiger Mix. I've always grown Dutch iris, and I've used those as an annual. I've always grown the yellow, the white, and the blue. But look at the colors on these. I'm just so happy and excited to have these. I only got 10 bulbs, and I'm kind of wishing I had gotten more. But again, these will multiply. The next one I have is Fritillaria Meleagris Mixed. And it says here that they are not eaten by rodents. Can you see that? That's got a little picture of a squirrel on it. I don't know about that. I hope that the squirrels don't like to dig them up. But I have another area that I have planted in a lawn bulb garden in the back of the house. Hopefully I can share that with you in the spring, and hopefully they will all come up. But I planted some Fritillaria back there, and I put Repelzol on top. I put Repelzol everywhere, just because of, you know, animals coming in and digging. And one more narcissus for that area called Lemon Drops. And this says that it is very fragrant. It also says 3 to 4 flowers per stem. And as per the picture you're seeing, I can see that. I'm really excited to have this. I love the gentle yellow color of it. So I only got, I think, 5 bulbs of that, not too many. Okay, well, we'll go over to the new bulb garden area. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'll plant these and speed up the camera a little bit. I might talk throughout a little bit, and we'll get this job done. I've got about 50 more tulips to plant in another area, and then with these and the more tulips, we'll be completely done. Yay! And we can start sort of decorating. I want to kind of deck this enclosed garden out a little bit for Christmas, and I'm excited about that. Hopefully I can get that done and share that with you. But for now, let's go plant these. I did go in and get a hat to try to tame my hair down a little bit in this wind, but this is the area that I'm calling my new bulb garden. So it's about 3.5 feet by 4.5, maybe 5 feet. It's rectangular shape. And of course, when I was at the nursery buying the bulbs and the corms, I was envisioning a much larger area. And so I'm really glad I didn't buy more than I did. But you know, I have what I have here, and it's got beautiful compost in it. I really didn't even amend the compost, but I did amend it a little bit with bulb tone, just because this bed has been used and used and used so much for different successions of flowers. I went ahead and amended it with bulb tone to feed the bulbs a little bit. That's not always necessary, because when you're planting new bulbs, They really have everything that they need in them to feed the bulbs to grow for the spring. The time that you need to feed your bulbs is right before spring. You need to probably sprinkle some bulb tone in the area, mix it in a little bit, and that gives the bulb just a boost when springtime comes. One of the things I want to add to this bulb garden is an obelisk in the center, but I don't have the obelisk that I want to use. Hopefully I will be able to pick that up in December if we travel to the area where I like to buy my obelisks. So now I'm going to just put something in the center to give me a footprint of approximately the size of the obelisk. I think just to make it easy on myself, I'm going to use this little cloche here, this little wire cloche. This will kind of help me just gauge and get a footprint of where I'm going to put the obelisk and sort of where I want to plant the bulbs. So hopefully, I did bring my auger out and my drill and my auger. Hopefully I won't need to use that, but if I do, it's just the best thing ever. I do want to quickly add that I don't like to plant my bulbs, any of my bulbs. I'm in zone 6B/7. I don't like to plant any of my bulbs until November, until the temperatures get consistently in the 60°F range, which it has not been this November. Today it's going to be a high of 70°F. So, but I'm okay, you know, to plant them. You can plant bulbs if your ground is not frozen and you can get bulbs in the ground, you can do that. It's just important not to plant your bulbs too early because it confuses the bulb. If it's too warm outside, the bulb is not happy with that. So don't plant them too early. So I planted the gladiator alliums in the very back row. You can plant 3 bulbs per square foot, so I'm totally fine there. I planted them 8 inches deep. As you saw, I needed to use my auger. And the Persian blue, they only need to go 5 inches deep, so I probably won't need to use the auger. I think I have 5 here, so I might do, I don't know, just like 3 right there, and then some hyacinths on this side. I think maybe I'll do it that way. The rest of the bulbs are going to be pretty easy. I can just hand plant those, meaning I can just sort of drill them down with my hand because none of them need to be planted very deeply. So we're just going to plant 3 right there. So I know I have the gladiators right along the back here. So I'm going to use this little area right here for the Persian blues. And I'm just going to take my hoe and make a little space right here, about 5 inches deep, and that's not very deep. I like to wear gloves when I'm handling hyacinth bulbs because the bulbs do irritate my skin just a little bit. I decided to plant the Schubertii alliums right underneath where the obelisk will be. I hope that wasn't a bad decision, but I think it'll work out just fine. So we got the Schubertii planted 8 inches deep. Now the rest should be easy peasy. Where would my life be without a power planter auger? I don't know. I use mine all the time. I decided to plant the flare tulips right there in the corner. So hopefully they will perennialize for me and come back. And if not, that's okay. We can add something else. I love the smaller bulbs that you only have to plant 2 to 3 inches. It's just so easy to get those in the ground. Well, we got the whole new bulb garden planted. I'm really excited. You saw me plant a few things in layers as sort of a bulb lasagna type. So they will just grow up around each other, and some of them are a little bit later blooming than others. The only thing I didn't plant, and my building is squeaking. The only thing I didn't plant were about 5 in total more of the alliums. So I'm going to plant those. I see a bed here that I'm going to plant those in. And hopefully in the spring I can give you a tour of all of my bulbs and all of the different places I have them. So be looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I do have some other things I'm going to be doing for the rest of the season, so stick with me. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. And until next time, happy gardening. And if you're planting bulbs, happy bulb planting. Bye-bye.